Greetings, Commanders, and welcome back to the Four Corners series here in Elite Dangerous. Today's episode is going to have us heading out towards, once my logo goes away, it's going to be having us head out towards the Oceana system here, which apparently is going to be a quadruple water world star system. Not overly interesting, but it is a step along the way towards our goal of hitting Notice, the southern meridian, or whatever, however you pronounce that, and just getting as far south as we can before making our way off in this direction. So, without further ado, let's get off the ground and start heading off in our direction that we're trying to go. So, we have 15 jumps before... We have 15 jumps before we're going to be able to get to where it is that we're trying to go for our next leg here. So yeah, we're going to be doing... I don't know that we're necessarily going to be doing like a circle around the galaxy kind of thing. What we'll likely end up doing is doing like a diamond shape pattern kind of thing. Let me see. I'll see if I can kind of help you visualize it. Let's see. Bring this back up. So I'm thinking something like, you know, we're coming down to here, and then we'll just make a straight line for like something like this over here to try to get over to this side, and then make a straight line coming over there, straight line over there, and then back to the bubble, you know, months later, however many months later it's going to be for us to do that. So for now, we're just making a beeline down to the southern part of the galaxy because it is the closest option from the bubble where we are. And then we're just going to grab as many waypoints as we can along the way, you know, without going too far off the path. I don't want to like be trying to go after everything. That would be obnoxiously ridiculous, I think. So we're gonna do the best we can to try to visit points of interest along our path, and then hopefully we find really cool stuff along the way. So we got some high metal. Oh, all right, that works too. Nothing particularly interesting in this system, so move on to the next one. So yeah, the whole point of all of this is, as much as I'm not a big fan of like slots and gambling and, you know, rolling the dice and all of that stuff, I like to have consistent progress. The fact that we're able to cover distance allows me to get that feeling of consistent progress. The fact that we're able to regularly visit waypoints gives us that consistent progress. And then, you know, but a lot of the episodes are going to be, especially once we start getting to the point where waypoints are going to be much further apart, a lot of the episodes are just going to be rolling the dice to see, hey, did we find something cool in this episode? So, those of you who enjoy not knowing what's going to happen and are okay with the occasional episode being not particularly, ending up not being very productive, come along for the ride. That's exploration. That is exploration. I will do my best to try to, you know, be chatty and all of that stuff. You know, the more you do content creation, the easier it becomes to just kind of BS around and, you know, find things to talk about. And I think that for the most part, people who watch videos that aren't necessarily super twitchy in nature, like, you know, combat shooters and things like that, most people are just looking for somebody to feel like they're hanging out with. You're bored, maybe you're not particularly... maybe you don't particularly, you don't want to go out and meet people, but you also don't want to be by yourself. So I think a lot of people who are online are just looking for somebody to hang out with. And, you know, I'm perfectly happy to provide that for you. It's fine. Mostly because as an introvert myself, I understand where you're coming from. And then also the fact that because I'm only doing it as videos, I can choose when I turn it off. So I can just be like, you know what, I'm just going to do this for 30 minutes at a time. Give some people something, give some people a feeling of like hanging out and stuff, and then, you know, I go do my thing, you go do your thing, and everything's cool. So if we don't find anything really cool along the way on this episode, or along the way on our way to our waypoint, we're going to get there pretty quick. Thus far, we have had a couple of systems with some stuff in it, but unfortunately nothing interesting. I am aware that there are tools out there that will sort of help you find things, but I'm not... The problem I have with that, with the tools that I know of that are available, is that they all work off of your journal, which means you have to go through the effort of searching for things anyway before it's going to show you anything. What I want is something that will bypass the need to do scanning and all of that stuff and just give me an idea of what's in the system. Like, you know, it'll tell me, oh, this system has this, and this system has that, so you should spend your time scanning for this. I would be much happier with that kind of a system. Because, people will recommend tools sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, I appreciate the thought, but I'm unaware of any tools that will bypass the need of reading your journal or reading a journal. Like, I think there's some options. Wait, what was that? Oh, it's a water well. We're going to go scan that. I think there are some ways of scanning some online documents. Like, I know a lot of people try to use the... I forget what it's called. I'm sorry. I forgot what it's called. But it's a thing where people have it installed and it reads their journal and uploads it to an aggregator website or whatever, and gives you the ability to find things. That's great, but that just means that the things you're finding are all things that people have already found already, and it's like, it doesn't help you insist if you go to a system where nobody found anything already. So I'm not aware of a mechanism that allows you to figure out what's in the system without having to go through the process of scanning everything. So, that's the thing. And I know that for people who have a certain mindset, it bothers them that some of us want to skip that process, and they feel like you should have to go through the steps to get this or that. And I'm like, I'm fine with going through the steps of like scanning things to get the reward. I just don't want to have to go through the process to find out if there's something worth scanning. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have to manually scan every planet just to find out if there's something worth my time. Like, I don't want to do that. I feel like the Discovery Scanner should really be the mechanism that is your primary means of discovering things, of deciding what. Like this, the Discovery Scanner should give you a list of what's in the system, and then if something on that list catches your attention, then you do a detailed scan to find out where it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the Discovery Scanner should be able to give you a list of at least categories of types of planets that are there, a category of types of species that are in the system, not necessarily where they are. Like, oh, I'm wasting my time here. Sorry. Next system en route. It is a keybind in the targeting section of the thing, for those of you who don't know about it. Every time I say target next system, or at least back in the day when I would say target next system en route, people would be like, is that a keybind? Yes, it is a keybind. I feel like the Discovery Scanner would be much more useful if it was something that provided you with a list of information, a list of signal returns. The information that you would normally get from a full spectrum system scan on a body. I feel like the Discovery Scanner should really just provide you with a list of those things. It doesn't and then, if something on that list piques your interest, then you do a full spectrum system scan to identify where that signal's coming from, right? Specifically where that signal's coming from. Like, that'll make it so that make it so you still have to put forth effort to find things, right? But not the mindless, boring, oh my God, I have to do this in every system I go to unreasonableness that we have now. So I think it would be really cool. Make it so that the Discovery Scanner gives you a list of, hey, there's geological features in this. There's this kind of geological feature in this. There's this kind of this category of biology. Like, you know how when you go and you do your planetary scan or whatever, it tells you that there's bacteria. And tells you that there's fonticula. It tells you that there's stratum or whatever. Like, the Discovery Scanner should be able to just give you a list of what's in the system, and then you decide if the things that are in the system are worth your time to go and try to investigate further. So it would give you, hey, there are 20 bodies in this thing, X number are planets, X number are moons, there is bacteria in the system, there is stratum in the system, there are geological features in the system, we're getting traces of platinum in the system, like something like that. A full report of the system that just gives you a general idea of what's in the system, right? And then after that, you use that as a determinator to decide, all right, am I going to expend the time to do a full spectrum system scan to identify exactly where these are? I think that would be a much better and much more interesting system, because then you can avoid, you're only doing, the full spectrum system scan becomes a helpful tool rather than just an obligation that you have to do if you want to get anything done at all. See what I mean? Like, I think that sort of an implementation would be so much more satisfying. Because right now, if you want to have any chance of finding anything, nope, you're going to do the mini game. We made this mini game, you're going to do it. and that's just the end of it. And I don't like it when you do that to me. I don't like it when you do that to me. If you're going to provide me a tool, make it a tool that's helpful, not something that I'm forced to use. So that's my thought process on it. I know people disagree, but I mean, the discovery scanner is...
System scan complete.
Well, we're going to go check that out. We're definitely going to go check that out. The discovery scanner is like, might as well just not have it. You know what I mean? It doesn't do anything. All it does is, I didn't mean to do that. All it does is just unlock the full spectrum system scanner. It's like, well, then what's the point? The discovery scanner would be much more useful if it was used as an initial decision-making tool. I think that would be a much better and more interesting use, and a much more interesting system overall. To be perfectly honest with you. Because then you pop the discovery. I know I'm just repeating myself, but I really like the idea. The more I think about it, the more I really like the idea. Just, you know, you pop the discovery scanner, and then maybe there's a tab over here on the left that gives you a list of the features, or maybe you're able to open the system map and it gives you a list of the features, right? Because the system map doesn't tell you where anything is either, right? Like you open up the system map here, it doesn't give any distances or anything like that. It just says, oh, there's all of this. So there you go. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be a much better way of doing things. So let's see, we need 6 probes here. I'm just gonna go ahead and do 6 just so we can, because we have to wait for the scan to be done anyways to find out what's on the body. I don't remember if this is a high metal content world or what. But yeah, I like the idea of just having a thing that pops, having the discovery scanner just give you an overview of what's in the system, which is really what it should, you know, is what you would assume it would do anyways. Yeah, there's nothing interesting here, so we're moving on. It's what you would like naturally, intuitively assume it would do anyway. The discovery scanner is supposed to help you discover the things that are in the system. And then if you want more detail and resolution, then you switch to the full spectrum system scanner, which gives you more information. And if they balanced it so that, you know, the discovery scanner is a tool that helps you decide if you want to explore more, and then you get a lot more out of your full spectrum system scan when you decide to use that. I think it takes a lot of the frustration out of those of us who don't like the full spectrum system scan process in the first place, and it makes it so that we're only using it when we've decided that it's worth our time to use it, rather than just being forced into using it all the time just because. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to use it. I don't like the way the full system scanner works personally. So anything that would make it so that I can use it less would be a really welcome change.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Just saying. All right, so these are all icy bodies. We'll go ahead and scan them anyways. 2 biological sources is almost certainly going to be bacteria and fungoida, so we're not going to mess around with that too much. And we're going to come over here.
System scan complete.
No, guess not. Moving on.
Drive charging.
8 jumps left until we get to where we're going. So now that every time I have an idea like that where I think it would be something that's really cool, I have a hard time letting it go, because now I'm just like, oh, I wish they would do that now. I really wish they would do that. Exploration would be so much less tedious if we could just do that. It would be so much less tedious. It would still take the same amount of time to get things, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously, you know, you would spend less time in systems that are worthless, like that aren't going to have anything. I understand that is a metric that they'd probably be looking at, but I mean, if you're not looking at that as a net positive, then you're just thinking about it the wrong way. You're just thinking about it the wrong way. If your goal is to waste, if part of your goal is to waste people's time, that's extremely disrespectful. That's extremely disrespectful. And as a developer, if your attitude is that you're okay with just wasting my time, then that makes me not want to play your game anymore. Like, the only reason I continue to play is because, you know, the other parts of the game are good enough to overcome some of the time-wasty things that they do, but it still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, because it's like, you know, if you're not going to respect my time, then why should I give you any money? Like, you don't deserve my money if you're just gonna provide me with something that wastes my time.
Frameshift drive charging.
You know? And it is like, I know there's different ideas of, you know, what is a good use of your time, But realistically, if the goal is to try to just artificially make things take longer when there is a way to make it more efficient and more interesting, then you're just intentionally wasting people's time, and that's disrespectful. That's how I feel about it. It just kind of is what it is. So yeah, Discovery Scanner, that's actually useful. Give me a list of the prominent features that people would typically be looking for in a system, right? And then based off of each person's metric of whether it's worth it or not, they'll stop and do a full spectrum system scan, or because everybody's going to have a different threshold as to what's going to be interesting for them to stop. Like me, I'm going to be looking for a very limited number of biological signatures, some water worlds, Earth-like worlds, things like that. Other people are going to be much more broad in what they're looking for. So it would just make the Discovery Scanner an actual useful tool rather than just an arbitrary thing that you do to unlock your full spectrum system scanner, or to discover the number of bodies in a system to decide whether you're I'd much rather it be a much more effective tool than what it is right now.
Frameshift drive charging.
That would be really cool. But yeah, we have 6 more jumps to go. Hopefully we can get in here. I mean, it's just a system with four water worlds in it, so it's not going to be super interesting.
3, 2.
It's Elite Dangerous. I mean, it's never the things you see in the game are almost never going to be super interesting. So it's mostly just about hanging out in space. That's the appeal of the game, really. If you enjoy space combat and stuff like that, even then, for the most part, space combat isn't so difficult that you're really going to get anything out of it. If you're one of those people that does if you're one of those people who likes to impress people with your ability to do flight assist off and stuff like that, yeah, okay. And if you're into PvP, I'm sure it's much more interesting. I've never been much of a PvP person, mostly because I've never really been that interested in being challenged in video games. For me, video games are an escape from the world. It's something to do to kind of chill and relax and, enjoy the game. And I don't enjoy it when, life is difficult enough. I don't want difficulty in my video games. Video games are supposed to be an escape from all that. For me. 5 jumps. I forgot what number we were on. But yeah, we're getting towards the end of the episode. A few more jumps, and then we got to scan some. Water worlds. I'm running out of things to talk about. So, because I could drone on and on and on about the whole Discovery Scanner idea, but I've already beat that horse to death several times now. So, what else can we talk about?
Fuel scooping.
25 bodies, I don't really want to scan. See, this is where having that Discovery Scanner would make it so much worth it. Because if it was 40 bodies, but the Discovery Scanner told me that there was something worth my time to scan it, it would make me scan large systems like this, and I'd actually put the time and effort into it. But now I'm just forced to say, well, no, if it has more than 20 bodies, I'm not going to bother with it, which is, going to make me miss things that are interesting. It just is.
4, 3, 2.
But I don't want to spend the time scanning 25, 30, 40 bodies only to find out there was never anything there in the first place. It's just, you always have to do a cost-benefit analysis of any time you're spending your time on something, and it's just super frustrating to spend all that time scanning a big system like that, and then there's just nothing. There's nothing there.
Fuel scooping.
So it says it didn't say system scan complete.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
We have an icy body. Be interesting if it was one that had 10 biological sources on it.
System scan complete. Frameshift
Wouldn't that be
drive
cool? A lone body all by itself that has a bunch of biology on it. That would be pretty interesting. That would be an interesting random number generator setup for that. I think so.
3, 2, 1. Engage.
I'm curious to know how other people are going to deal with the whole colonization thing. I have zero interest in it myself. That's why we went ahead and just started started another exploration trip. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll let everybody else do all this colonization stuff. I'm gonna go out and explore the galaxy. I don't want to be tethered down to a specific location. That's boring. That's boring. If I want to build stuff, I'll go play SimCity or something like that. You know, I don't come here to play building mechanics. A couple of biological sources on that one. But these are icy bodies, which means that they're almost certainly going to be fonticula. So I don't really want to waste my time on that, because the landing process is tedious and takes a long time, and I would just rather not deal with it.
System scan complete.
And we're close enough now to our destination where we're going to find those 4 water worlds that I'm fine leaving that kind of stuff behind. Now, obviously, there's a small, tiny chance that it could be one of those really interesting species over there, but you got to play the odds. Whenever you're doing, remember I said cost-benefit analysis? The potential benefit, even if it ends up being one of those super cool, interesting things, the odds that it is going to be that are so small that it's just not worth going to check out every one of those that you can. So, you know, if we find 3 or 4 biological signatures on an ice world, that at least gives us a reasonable chance that something cool is going to show up there. If it's only with 2, if it's only 2, the odds are almost 100% that it's going to be fonticula, bacteria and fonticula. It could be something else. I'm not saying it can't be something else. It's just that the odds are, based off of the number of times that I've gone to icy worlds with 2 biological sources over the past couple of years, it's almost always been bacteria and fonticula, and that's just not worth my time to go look at. Even if it happens to be a weird color or something like that, the odds of it being a weird color are just really, really small. So you always got to come up with your own threshold for how you're going to spend your time on things. One of my criticisms of the development for exploration in this game is that not enough time was spent helping people make better cost-benefit analyses.
System scan complete.
Because if I had more information with less time, I'd be able to do it. Okay, so this is our destination system. We will go ahead and do a full-on scan, because we have to find the water worlds here.
Fuel scooping.
Ugh.
Fuel scooping complete.
Okay, slow down here. And yep, we got water worlds, rocky worlds. I mean, there's not really that much in the system anyway. Okay, so one there. And I'm just going to go ahead and target it because we know that's what we're going for. High metal content world. Wow, is that a gas giant all by itself? Interesting. There's that. There's that. Is that a... It's just because it just looked like a weird water world there. High metal content world. Okay, that takes care of some of that. I'm just not a fan of this whole system. Like, it's just really irritating, forcing me to scroll through frequencies when the computer could just automatically lock onto it for me. The computer should just be able to lock onto it for me. If somebody had an idea for a little mini game that they were like, ooh, that would be cool, let's implement that. And it's like, it's not fun, man. It's not fun. It's just tedious.
System scan complete.
All right. So realistically, that's pretty much it for the episode. It's not like these are going to be... It's not like these are going to be close together like the other ones were, where they were right next to each other. The only thing that's special about this system is just that there's 4 water worlds here. So I'm not going to waste your guys' time with a bunch of scanning right now. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye, and I'll scan these all on my own. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to click the like button, subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Join as a member for early access to videos, among other perks. Or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with the thanks button. I also have PayPal and Patreon links in the description if you prefer to go that route, because some people like to do that. So again, thank you very much for your time. I'll see you for the next episode. Have a great day.